I tried learning Godot using only the official documentation, just the docs, nothing else. As a beginner, I used that to recreate my Unity prototype and Godot. Nothing will go wrong, right? So I started with Godot's GD quest, learned from Zero course, and the beginner 2D game tutorial. Both of them were easy to follow and gave me a basic understanding on how to navigate Godot. But after that, things got a lot less clear. So I decided to go straight into Godot and try to recreate my Unity prototype. The scripting wasn't the hard part, it was understanding the nodes and signals. Most of the time I didn't really know what node I needed, so I just tried things. Checked the documentation and slowly started understanding how everything connects. In Unity, I always had the options to look things up, but here I limited myself to just the documentation. I started with basic movement, 8 directional, using placeholder assets. That part felt pretty easy, and was similar to what I did in Unity, so getting that working didn't take long. After that, I replaced the placeholder assets with the ones from my Unity prototype. Importing them was a bit confusing at first, especially the animations. In Unity I could just use sprite files directly, but in Godot I had to convert them to PNG first. The animation system felt different, but once I understood it a bit more, I actually liked it. Next I worked on the combat. I added a slash attack and a projectile, depending on how long I press. The logic was very similar to what I did in Unity, but finding the right functions took time. For example, I was looking for something like is press or was press this frame, and didn't realize I need to use input first. So a lot of times I was just trying different things until something worked. Signals especially still feel like a mystery to me. Even when something worked, I didn't always understand why. Then I started working on the enemy. I added a simple enemy with a health system and also created a health system for the player. From there I set up damage detection, so attacks could actually hit the enemy. Most of this was pretty straightforward, since it was similar to what I already did in Unity. I also added some basic UI, a health bar, a mana bar, a score system, and a replay button. To finish it off, I added an infinite enemy spawning system, and with that, I basically recreated my Unity project in Godot. Looking back, it sounds pretty straightforward, but it really wasn't. There were a lot of small issues along the way. At one point, the enemy would just get stuck inside the player and not move at all. Other times my attacks would keep triggering over and over again because of how I set up the animation. And at one point there were hundreds of slashes just stacked on the mouse position that didn't despawn. I also ran into problems where my player couldn't move diagonally anymore, even though it did before, and it turned out to be something completely unrelated to what I expected. There were also issues with rotation caused by something as simple as a missing node, and even visually, things didn't look right at first. The scale of the assets was off, and getting everything to look like proper pixel art took some time. And there were many more small issues along the way that I honestly didn't even remember anymore. Most of the times, it wasn't clear what was actually causing the problem, so I ended up just trying different things. I was brute forcing, changing small parts and seeing what worked. But over time, things slowly started to behave the way I wanted. What surprised me the most is that I didn't use the documentation as much as I expected. A lot of time I was just trying random things until it worked. I also noticed that my project structure felt very different. In Unity I had around 10 separate scripts, but in Godot I ended up using fewer, actually 6 scripts. And instead of feeling simpler, it actually felt more messy and less organized at times. Godot feels different from Unity, but in a good way. It feels faster and easier to build things, but harder to structure them properly. I still don't fully understand nodes, signals, and composition, but I'm starting to see how it all fits together. I think understanding nodes and signals is the most important part, and also the part that takes the most time. I'm still figuring things out, but that's kind of the point. So for now, I think I will keep working in Godot. If you're starting out like I am right now, I probably wouldn't learn Godot only from the documentation. The GD Quest course and the 2D tutorial inside the documentations are really helpful for the basics. But it helps more to use tutorials alongside your own projects. Not just copying them one-to-one, but changing things, trying different values, and even breaking things on purpose to understand how everything actually works. And then using the documentation more as a reference. Once you have a basic understanding of the editor, you can start using the documentation more on its own. In the end, others showed that it's possible, even with very little experience. So it doesn't really matter where you start, as long as you keep learning.